Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and this week I am going to be reading some middle grade books for middle grade March, and thought I would bring you along for a little vlog. So I have a pile of possibilities. I've decided not to do the prompts because I can't devote the entire month to middle grade, so I don't know how many books I can read over the next week or so. So I've just chosen a couple from my library, and I've pulled a few middle grades from my shelves, and I'll just share those with you, and I'll read probably only maybe 3 of them this week. I don't know. I am a slow reader, but I can read middle grade pretty quickly, so we'll see how it goes. So from the library, I have on hold Bud Not Buddy, which has made it to several of my TBRs, so I really want to prioritize that one. And another one I have on hold is Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. So if those come in during this week, I will read those. But in the meantime, I've pulled a bunch of middle grades that have been sitting on my shelves that I haven't read. So we're going to start with a classic. That's The Wind in the Willows, classic children's book that just looks delightful and whimsical, but I've never read it. And The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This has also made it onto a couple TBRs, I feel like. Then we have Sweep, The Story of a Girl and Her Monster, which was the group read for middle grade March a couple of years ago, and everyone loved it, so I went out and bought a copy and still haven't read it. And the last book is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise, which I don't remember why I bought this. Someone had mentioned it in a video, and it sounded good. So I will be trying to read at least a couple of those books this week. But for right now, my lunch break's almost over, so I'm going to get back to work. I have finished reading Sweep, and holy cow, did I ever love this book. I loved this book. If this doesn't make my top 10 list at the end of the year, I'll eat my hat. I can't see how it wouldn't. It was so good. So it's set in Victorian London. It follows this chimney sweep, and when she's very young, the master sweep who was taking care of her disappears and leaves her with this chunk of charred soot. And then later in her life, it turns into this golem, this monster that is there to protect her, and she also takes care of him. And it's just this story about love and family and parent-child relationships. It is so heartwarming and heartbreaking. I cried so much last night reading this. And I don't mean beautiful single tear a la Demi Moore in Ghost crying. I mean tears streaming down my face, sobbing. I was sobbing is what I was doing. It is just so awful because of the reality of being a child in Victorian London, living in poverty, being forced to clean chimneys. And I learned a lot from this book. I know it's middle grade. Now, okay, I'm not naive enough to have thought previously that a chimney sweep was Mary Poppins or something. I knew it was an awful job, and child labor is clearly awful. But I guess I learned much more of the details and the specifics in here, and holy crap, is it horrifying. This book has sent me down many internet rabbit holes. I have been Wikipediaing it up. I have been watching YouTube videos. I have been reading all sorts of different little historical tidbits on chimney sweeps and climbers, which were the children who would actually climb the flues to clean them. And it was heartbreaking. I don't know what else to say because I'm still I just finished the last couple of chapters this morning, and I'm still kind of processing it all. So I don't really have much else to say besides this had everything I wanted in a middle grade. It was full of heart, full of great relationships, great characters who I cared about, whimsical, a little bit of magic. It just had everything I could want in a middle grade book. And it tore my heart out. It glued my heart back together as well, but it tore my heart out. The way this book talks about, like, grief and, like, losing a parent, losing a child, like, things that were realities for people living in poverty in Victorian times. And I just thought it was great. I love this. Is so my cup of tea. This is kind of like, I'm the kind of person who also, I'm easily manipulated by, like, Disney animated features. I kind of got the same kind of whimsical but sad but somewhat hopeful kind of vibes from this. So I thought it was great. How many times can I say I thought it was great? I thought it was great. Now I'm in a dilemma because I want to pick up another middle grade. I originally thought I would pick up Bud Not Buddy next, because it's been on so many of my TBRs and I really want to read it, but I don't know if I'm in the mental space right now. Bad things happening to kids is like a big trigger for me, and this deals with, of course, these children who are, like, forced in the most dangerous, awful jobs, children who were orphaned or abandoned by parents. And Bud Not Buddy is about a child who, I don't know if he's at an orphanage or if he's in foster care, but I just read about a bunch of, like, orphans and abandoned children going through some heavy stuff, and I just don't know if I want to read another, like, orphan narrative right now. I'm gonna have a think about what to pick up, and I will let you know when I have figured it out. I had another look at my pile, and I think I figured out my next choice. I am going with The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. I just feel like this is going to be so wholesome and hopefully not sad. I don't think I can take more sad right now. Look at them. They're having a little tea outside. It's springtime. I'm going to get my day started. I'm going to make some coffee and breakfast. I'm going to get my work done. Hopefully, if the rain holds off, go for a walk today. I'll bring you along on all that and check in at some point about Wind in the Willows. Today, and I am in a lot of pain. I pulled a muscle, slept funny, something. My left side is like my neck, my shoulder, down like behind my shoulder blade, like it's really bad. I took an extra long shower, extra hot, to try to like loosen up the muscle, but it's just like it's really painful. So I'm about to go and take a Tylenol. I might end up only being able to read today. I might not get much else done, but there are other things I need to get done. So I'm going to take a Tylenol and have breakfast, and like hopefully that'll start to alleviate some of this pain. I had the heating pad on it. It didn't really do much for me. So we're going to take a pill and see if that helps. Good news, I read about 50 pages of The Wind in the Willows last night, and it is everything I wanted. It is just so wholesome and sweet. It kind of got me out of that kind of like sad headspace that I was in, so much so that I can probably pick up a different book as well. I'm probably going to dip in and out of this because there's no like through plot or anything. It's just these little, each chapter is really just a little separate episode in the lives of these little animals. So I have a meeting in about an hour, so I'm going to try to get myself sorted out before that meeting, and I will check back in with you later. one of those mornings. Oh my gosh. It was so hectic. I didn't even have time to grab my heating pad. I was hoping to sit here this morning with my heating pad, but I thought I had a meeting at 10:30 this morning. So I'm sitting down, like doing other stuff on my computer, waiting for 10:30 to roll around. At around 9:45, I go to like check some emails, and I got an email from a colleague saying, hey, like we're on the call. And I was like, call? What call? Apparently I had a call at 9:30. So I rush over there. I'm in the meeting. I'm there late, apparently. They're all very nice about it. 10:30 rolls around, and I'm like, okay, well, we're like wrapping things up kind of quickly because I thought I had this call at 10:30 I had to get to. So I get off at like 10:31, rush over to my email to get the Zoom link for my 10:30 meeting, just to find out that I don't know what I'm talking about and that the meeting was at 1 p.m. So my next meeting's at 1 p.m., not at 10:30. And I'm in pain. The Tylenol actually did help a little bit, but I'm just ornery this morning. Also, I bought these maple donuts, and there's like they don't taste like maple. This could be any topping. I'm grumpy. Here's what I've decided to do. I've decided I'm taking the day off because I am in pain. I still have to go to the meeting, attend the Zoom meeting at 1. That's something I can't skip, but I can handle that. But the thought of sitting at my desk and typing and stuff with my shoulder and neck the way they are, I'm just like, I've decided no. So I've poured myself another cup of coffee. I got my heating pad going, and I'm going to cozy up, read some more of The Wind in the Willows, and then pick another book later this afternoon, maybe. As you saw in the footage, I had to take my fleece off partway through my walk. I thought it'd be much colder because I live on the east coast of Canada and it's March, but it's really warm today. So I'm a little bit sweaty, but I feel good. This might have been a mistake because of my shoulder. Like I feel it kind of standing up a little bit, but it just looks so nice out that I had to get out. And yeah, so I'm back in now. I am going to probably read another chapter of Wind in the Willows, and then I'm going to get started on Bud Not Buddy. I think I am ready to read it. Hopefully it won't be too terribly sad and heart-wrenching, but I will check back when I've read more. I just finished Bud Not Buddy, and it was a lovely story. It wasn't too terribly sad, which I was worried about. It does have some sad moments, some touching moments, but it wasn't overwhelmingly sad. It's about a 10-year-old boy named Bud, and his mother died when he was 6, and he's been living at this home, and he's been in and out of foster care, and he gets placed with his family, and it's just awful. That's actually the worst part of the book, was how the family that he's placed with treated him. The family he goes to is they're just the worst, and so he runs away. He doesn't go back to the home, he runs away. So the story is him, as he calls it, on the lam. The story is set in 1936, and so during the Depression, and I think it really kind of captured that historical period really well, but without being too overly depressing, because it is a children's book. But you can tell there's hard times, like he goes to the mission to try to get breakfast, and there's this long line of people. I'm really into like the 20s and 30s and 40s, like the jazz era, the like big band era. And part of the story is him trying to find his father. He has some flyers that his mother had of this band, this touring band that would tour the Midwest. This is set in Illinois and Michigan? No, just in Michigan. It's just set in Michigan. He has these flyers for this band, and he's convinced that one of the band members is his father, so he wants to go find this band. And so there's not a lot actually, there's a sprinkling in there on on like kind of like the big bands of the time, and of course, as someone who loves big band and like swing, I was into it. And yeah, I just thought it was a delightful story. Bud as a character was so great. You just want to be his friend. Like, he just seems like a great little kid, and he's been mistreated, and just a nice experience to watch him try to seek out family. So yeah, it was just a great book that I would recommend. I'm not done The Wind in the Willows yet, but I'm going to close the vlog off here because it's like an episodic kind of a book, and so there's not like a through story, so I don't feel like I need to finish it. My thoughts, I'm probably about halfway through. My thoughts thus far are it's charming and wholesome and just a delightful little read, and I'm sure I will love it as well. So that's been my week reading middle grade. I hope everyone's doing well, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.